Court will please come to order. We've got all of our commissioners here. Right. And we are back in session from our 8 o'clock hearing. When you did that, did you do the motion to open and close?
Yeah, should be. Yes.
Okay. All right. So bailiff, you already open?
Yes.
Okay. So let's have our invocation from a guest of Commissioner Cantrell.
Judge and Commissioners, our guest today is Dr. John Yarborough. He is a former home missionary and has been serving as pastor, church planting, and ministry development for over 30 years in the Dallas area. He is the missions pastor at Royal Haven Baptist Church. He completed his Master of Divinity at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth and his Doctor of Ministry from the Golden Gate Baptist Theological Seminary in San Francisco, California. He is currently serving as discipleship and missions pastor at the Royal Haven Baptist Church in Farmers Branch. He and his wife, and she's here with him today, celebrate 52 years of marriage and have 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren.
Yes.
Pastor, thank you for coming down.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I know that by coming and driving here from the suburbs that I will recommend that anybody that works here has to have a raise in order to fight that traffic.
I think our staff would agree with you.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Our Father, we know that in life that we can make many decisions, many important decisions without you. But Lord, we know that when we listen to you, we can truly make wise decisions. And so, Lord, may you grant these commissioners wisdom to govern in ways that will honor you. For we know when they make these kinds of choices and decisions, they will also honor the people of this great city and county. Lord, the history of this city and county has been a living example to our great state and nation. And Lord, may you bless each commissioner with a renewed determination to fulfill their calling in this court. And I pray that each person here might have an extra amount of wisdom and grace as they serve. And I pray that the residents of the county will have a greater awareness of the hard work that these servants perform. And our Father, we need healing in our city, in our county, in our nation. We need a renewed commitment to the golden rule, to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And Lord, may I pray that you would bring healing to our families in our county, to return the hearts of fathers to their children, and the hearts of children back to their fathers, and a renewed commitment to husbands and wives. And Lord, may the commissioners of this court lead out in a living example of love and honor and commitment to godly principles. And Lord, bless the lives of each commissioner here. And as they bless this county, and we now commit this day, this time of business, to you, the true and the living God. And I pray these things in the Lord Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Brought his own amen. All right. Here we go. All right. Well, I've got the first resolutions today, but before we do the resolutions, I want to remind people that today is the last day of early vote in the municipal elections, and very important that people participate in their democracy. Democracy works best when people participate. Really want to encourage everyone, encourage our media partners over there to make sure people know today's the last day of early vote. You can vote in a lot of locations. It makes no difference if you're voting in one city. You can still go to another city near your workplace today and vote, because the computer will pull up your ballot for wherever you live. If you vote on Saturday, which is election day, you'll need to go to your correct precinct. So just a friendly public service reminder there. And no, I just recessed that in general. Oh, during the hearing. ask the DA. There's a concern because of the hearing that maybe we need to adjourn something or do something. Do you think we're good, or is there anything that we need to do to make sure this hearing's all on the up and up and counts?
Yeah, you went into recess from the prior hearing to adjourn that hearing and begin this.
And that's what I was telling him. We need to adjourn that for the term, and because I opened it, and he recessed.
Correct.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we need to
and you've
adjourn.
got to close the term and open the term.
So-
Oh, so we didn't do that?
Right.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, yeah.
Second.
Okay, I'm moving.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And is there a motion to open the May term?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I got you. I misunderstood. I thought you had done that. All right, so we're on to our first resolution today, and our first resolution is Employees of the Month. And our Employees of the Month, please come forward. And this month, we have Kim Peel from the Auditor's Office, Diane Coffey from the District Clerk, Eric Taylor from Facilities, Troy Smith from Facilities, Kevin Pittner from Facilities, Saleha Fahim from the Health and Human Services, Nathan Dillinger from Information Technologies, Tarosha Y. Allen from Juvenile, Hamid Baha from the Public Works, Stephanie Birkin from the Sheriff, and Elizabeth Need from the Tax Office. And the resolution reads, don't worry, you won't be up there long, they're coming down. Leaving a lone soldier up there, she's getting kind of nervous.
They're coming.
All right. Whereas Dallas County employees are hardworking, dedicated, and play a vital role in achieving the goals and objectives set forth each year by the Commissioners Court, most employees perform above expectation and ensure that Dallas County continues to be a regional leader and the destination of choice for residents and businesses. And whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court authorized the creation of the Employee Recognition Program in 2012 to encourage recognition of dedicated employees, like you guys, who represent the best and the brightest of our workforce. And whereas the Dallas County Employee Recognition Program is consistent with the county's approved administrative plan, under which the county seeks to operationally be a model governmental entity. These employees represent the exemplar employees Dallas County hopes to recruit and retain. Ready to read that now? No. Okay. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby salute the following employees for being selected as Employee of the Month in April 2017 for their respective departments and offers best wishes for continued success at Dallas County, and I so move.
And I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. And I also have the next resolution. It's for Foster Care Month. Will Diana Marquez and any others with her please come forward? Oh, brought a pretty good sized posse with them here. All right. And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas foster care, as defined by the Anna E. Casey Foundation, is a temporary living situation for children whose parents cannot take care of them and whose need for care has come to the attention of a child welfare agency. While in foster care, children may live with relatives, with foster families, or in a group facility. And whereas according to the Texas Department of Family and Child Protective Services, there are approximately 23,000 children living in foster care in Texas, and 6,000 in North Texas, and 3,000 in Dallas County. And whereas the family serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support is the very foundation of our community and our state. And whereas all children in foster care need a meaningful connection to a caring adult who becomes a supportive, accepting, and lasting presence in their lives. And whereas foster kinship and adoptive families who open their homes and hearts and support children whose families are in crisis play a vital role in helping children and families heal and reconnect, thereby launching young people into successful adulthood. And whereas dedicated foster families frequently adopt foster children, resulting in a greater need for more foster families. And whereas there are numerous individuals, public and private organizations, who work to increase public awareness of the diverse need of children in and leaving foster care as a result, as well as the enduring and valuable contribution of foster parents. The foster care system is only as good as those who choose to be a part of it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize May 2017 as Foster Care Month in Dallas County and encourages all residents to support efforts to ensure health, safety, and success for all of our foster care children. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Judge Jenkins, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. My name is Diana Marquis, and I'm the Executive Director of Friends of Wednesday's Child. For more than 30 years, we have been serving the needs of children living in foster care in North Texas. We are dedicated to transforming the lives of children in foster care through education. Friends of Wednesday's Child works with CPS, CASA, private placement agencies, and of course, foster parents. The children in foster care in Dallas County have an ecosystem of support. This is a group of professionals who are responsible for the welfare of children who are under the protection of the state. There is no doubt that the system is strained, but also have no doubt that CPS and its partners save lives. Through referrals made by our sister agencies, we provide educational services such as one-on-one tutoring to help a student reach grade level. Keep in mind, every time a child changes foster homes in schools, he or she will lose 1 semester or more of classwork. They are behind before they even step foot into their new school. It also makes sense to help children settle into their new school and foster home by providing extracurricular activities. We help pay for activities such as team sports or arts programs to help a child feel less like an outsider. We also believe a child should have time to just be a kid, if only for a week or two. So we provide summer camp scholarships. These are just a few of our programs. Our ultimate goal is to help children living in foster care in North Texas graduate from high school. This sounds pretty basic until you know the appalling statistics. 6 out of 10 teenagers in foster care do not graduate from high school. With no high school diploma or GED, they become the underemployed, the homeless, the incarcerated. I want to close with one of our success stories. About 15 months ago, this particular teen started receiving some of our program services. She was a mess, as she put it. But during this short time, she has become an excellent student and plans to go to college. On her way to making this dream come true, she recently took the PSAT and scored in the top 5% nationally. We've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we are that village, you and me, and every other responsible adult. As we recognize National Foster Care Awareness in our county, say thank you to the professionals at CPS, CASA, TexProtects, and the many other child welfare organizations, and to the many good foster parents who open their homes and hearts to these vulnerable children. Thank you.
And I've got a third one, and this is my last one. And this is a resolution for Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. Would those working with this effort please come forward? And that resolution reads as follows. Whereas children are our most important resource and our children's mental and physical health are equally important to their future. And whereas 20% of all youth between 13 and 18 live with a mental health condition and less than 20% of children and adolescents receive needed mental health treatment. Suicide is a leading cause of death among school-aged children younger than 12 years. Additionally, only 44% of adults with diagnosable mental health problems and less than 20% of children and adolescents receive needed treatment. And whereas there continues to be many barriers to people receiving the care they need, including financial barriers, educational barriers, and most importantly, the stigma that marks those with mental illness. And whereas addressing the complex health needs of children, youth, and families today is fundamental to the future of Dallas County. Agencies and organizations across Dallas County will release butterflies on May 17, 2017, to draw attention to issues surrounding mental illness in children. And whereas Dallas Can Be, that's the Dallas Community Action Network, Building Expectations, is committed to improving mental health care for children in Dallas County now. Therefore, be it resolved, the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim May 17, 2017 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Day in Dallas County, and be it further resolved that Dallas County joins with other counties across Texas to support Flight to Freedom, the release of butterflies, to draw attention to mental illness in children, and I so move. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And our next several resolutions will be presented by Commissioner Daniel.
And first of all, I want to say thank you very much for the indulgence of everybody here, except that sometimes we can guarantee what's going to happen, and sometimes things happen in the environment that we don't have total control over. I joke that if I ruled the world, it'd be different. But anyways, here we go, because each one of these resolutions has merit and just happens to fall today. So we are going to take the good news as they come. Thank you. Would like to start with the National Military Appreciation Month, and would, in particular, Elvira Gonzalez please come forward, and would those who have served in the military please stand up, because this is my staff person who is an Air Force reservist and is now going to be deployed to Kuwait in July, but with great appreciation to all of our military, I would like to start this by saying the month of May is National Military Appreciation Month to ensure the nation is given the opportunity to publicly demonstrate their appreciation for the sacrifices and successes of our service members, past and present. And whereas we salute the unbroken chain of airmen, Coast Guardsmen, Marines, sailors, and soldiers who have continuously secured and renewed the promise of our nation, and we must never forget those who laid down their lives for our freedoms. And whereas we must show our appreciation by working to uphold the values they protect every day, and by continuing to strive and to build a nation worthy of their enormous sacrifice. We are called to demonstrate our gratitude by ensuring they get the opportunity to live the American dream they helped defend. And whereas the Dallas County Veterans Services Office assists eligible veterans and/or their survivors in obtaining benefits from the Department of Veterans Affairs in the state of Texas. Other services include providing outreach to clients who are shut in, homeless, or incarcerated, and giving the VA benefits presentations to nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and to other organizations throughout Dallas County. We encourage Dallas County residents to volunteer at organizations that provide support to our troops and their families. And whereas this month and in the months to come, let us show our enduring gratitude to military members and their loved ones for contributing to our nation's legacy as a beacon of hope and liberty. Their courage serves as a model of character and distinction, and their devotion to our country must be met with the recognition it deserves. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month, and encourages all to say thank you to military members currently serving and to those who have served in the past, and I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The court,
Take a look around here.
if the court will indulge me, I've been on vacation for a couple of months, and y'all hired somebody. Are you the new gentleman in charge?
Yes, Commissioner, I am.
And who are you?
Zach McGura. I formerly worked for Collin County as a county service officer for 5 years. Prior to that, I was with Dallas County as an intern and then a secretary.
Okay. They told me you were black, but that's okay.
But that's okay. Welcome.
Thank you. I was Army, and I'm still a reservist in the Army.
You're an Army reservist?
Reservist.
Yes,
You
sir.
feel it? Well, welcome. Glad to have
Sorry to trick you.
you. It's all right. I'll take a trip if you want.
We would now like to, Ms. Pamela DeGroff, would you please come forward with your family and your friends and your supporters? Please come forward. This woman has given to Dallas County with a smile and dedication. We would like to say that whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court takes special notice when an employee gives long and faithful service to the Dallas County, Pamela R. DeGroff joined the Dallas County Juvenile Department on July 6, 1981, and spent the next 35 years serving juvenile youth and their families. And whereas throughout her distinguished career with the Dallas County Juvenile Department, Pamela served in a variety of roles. She started as a caseworker for Dallas County Youth Village and went on to serve as a field probation services officer, a probation officer in the Dallas County Juvenile Department's first pre-adjudication intensive supervision unit. But her longest tenure has been as a juvenile probation officer for the Court Liaison Unit, where she has served for over 20 years. And whereas Ms. DeGroff has been instrumental in many areas of the department, none more notable and valuable as her input on the Dallas County Juvenile Department's Black History Committee. She was instrumental in laying the foundation for the great work exemplified by the DCJD organization for over 24 years. And whereas Ms. DeGroff and former probation officers James Bates collaborated to form a committee that would honor and pay homage to African American culture and for all the accomplishments made by African Americans in and outside of the job. Ms. DeGroff enlisted notable speakers such as Roland Martin, Zachary Thomas, Pastor Ricky Rush, Dr. Lawana Gladney, John McKay, William Blair, and Chris Arnold, just to name a few. And whereas Pamela considers the Dallas County Juvenile Department an extension of her own family, since joining the department in 1981, she has raised two outstanding and gifted, accomplished daughters, of whom she is very proud, and that's Stevie and Erin. Stevie graduated from Harvard University in 2004 with a major in English and history with a citation in Spanish. Stevie started a career with Google in 2006 and had the opportunity to extensively travel to Latin America for marketing. In January 2016, Stevie was awarded the Pinnacle Award for Top Outstanding Executives by the Boston Chamber of Commerce. Stevie left Google in September 2016 to pursue a law degree. Presently, Stevie's a first-year, second semester law student at Stanford. And whereas the second child, Erin, graduated from Pepperdine University with a degree in media production in April 2016. While at Pepperdine, Erin worked as the photo editor for Giraffe newspaper and was awarded Sports Photographer of the Year in 2014. After graduating, Erin moved to Lausanne, Switzerland, to work in Geneva for Green Cross International, doing research and videos highlighting environmental poverty and global warming. Erin is currently self-employed as a creative producer, producing film, photography, and media art. How appropriate you were in the juvenile department, huh? Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and express many thanks to Ms. Pamela DeGroof for her dedicated and faithful service to the youth and families of Dallas County, including her own. We wish you the best of luck in your retirement, and I so move.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ms. Pamela DeGroff and her family, even though she was with us for 35 years and she doesn't look a day like she's been with us that long, but I really have to acknowledge her mother, who comes to work religiously at the juvenile department and has helped out numerous times. And as you can see, beauty is in their genes. And her wonderful sister. So we are so eternally grateful. She has grown the Black History Committee from an idea to a must-see event that people clamor to come. And it's honoring, and it's grown, and it honors the Lyle B. Medlock Foundation Scholarship. So through that dedication and that work, we're able to afford more scholarships. Her energy, her determination is just insurmountable. So we are internally indebted to Mr. Groff and her tenacity and her wonderful, indefatigable spirit. So thank you very much, Mr. Groff.
I've known you for all of those 35 years. Remember Stevie and Aaron, and have watched their careers matriculate, watched their track star, part of the genes. But I did want to tell you today that your mom really didn't come down here to support you. She came down here because I was here. I hated to break that to you, but I want you to understand how, they talk about her volunteering in the juvenile department. Kwanzaa Fest over the years, in terms of the whole issue of breast cancer, your mom has been right there, helping other individuals in the community with that whole transition. And so, and I know you know that. I just wanted the record to be real clear about the fact that she has tireless energy. And so you know where you get it from. So,
thank you. And I just want to thank the commissioners. After 35 years, I'm still not tired. But when I looked at my retirement looked better than my salary. But
hey, you could be at the city.
Absolutely. And I do appreciate that. But thank you. And I want to thank my family and friends for their support as well. And not just for today, but just through my 35 years. And it was a wonderful 35 years. And I never woke up a morning saying, I don't want to go to work. I always wanted to go to work. And every day was rewarding. So thank you.
Before we do our next resolution, staff, anybody that can help with this, I notice we have a lot of people in the back and really throughout the audience who are fanning themselves because I think it must be a little warm out there. Is there anybody that can get the temperature to come down a little bit? We're working on that.
They already did.
Already.
They already did.
So they're working on it, folks. Bear with us.
The new records building will be temperature controlled.
It's not going to be very helpful today. But moving along, would those from Hamilton Park please come forward? Among those coming forward are representatives of longtime residents, of people involved with the Civic League there. I think that Councilmember Adam Magoo, as their Dallas City Council representative, is also here. The informal mayor of Hamilton Park is here. as well as one of my appointees, Patricia Hicks, to the History Board, and many, many good friends. Whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court joins the Texas Historical Commission in remembering the historical significance and beauty of the Hamilton Park community, born of a time underscored by hate and turmoil. And whereas Hamilton Park is a historically black neighborhood located 10 miles north of downtown Dallas, the community was named after Richard Theodore Hamilton in 1954, a young doctor graduating from Howard University in Washington, D.C., who moved to Dallas in 1901. And whereas together Dr. Richard Hamilton and his wife, Hattie, were advocates for equality and better housing conditions in Dallas during a time of separate but equal, a time when African Americans were still not welcome in predominantly white neighborhoods. Hamilton Park was created to address a housing shortage for the growing African American community moving into Dallas to build a better future for their families. It was completed in 1961 and consisted of 742 single-family dwellings. And whereas Hamilton Park was a fully thriving community with schools, churches, a local park, and businesses, and addressed all the needs of Hamilton Park residents, the community consisted of World War II veterans, educators and preachers, chauffeurs and domestic workers, registered and licensed vocational nurses, dentists and doctors, actors, gospel singers, and jazz musicians, landscapers, carpenters, and contractors responsible for building homes and churches, sculptors who shaped visual art, historians and civic leaders who rose to national status. And whereas Hamilton Park is home to an exemplary educational institution, the Hamilton Park Pacesetter Magnet Elementary School, which has served as a model for local school districts and other school districts across the United States. Before becoming the Hamilton Park Pacesetter Magnet Elementary School, it operated as the Hamilton Park School for all elementary, junior high, and high school African American children in the community, reminiscent of a time when separate but equal was deemed unacceptable, but was not. Landmark United States Supreme Court, Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka in 1954 would later lead to the integration of junior high and high school age students, leaving only the elementary school in that building. And whereas community residents recently commemorated Hamilton Park's 60th anniversary in August of 2015, the Hamilton Park Civic League serves as the community organization and has met monthly since the 1950s to connect community residents with the resources of the city of Dallas and draw the community together. Hamilton Park stands at the intersection of four paths of American history: the history of Dallas, urban history, African American history, and history of a grand community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby honor the Hamilton Park community, a historical gem in Dallas County, for its undertold story marker issued on behalf of the Texas Historical Commission. Thank you to the many contributors of so many hardworking individuals who forged on in spite of challenging circumstances. The dedication of the Hamilton Park Undertold marker will take place on May 13th, 2017 from 2 to 4 at the Hamilton Park Pacesetter Magnet School. We all invite you, and I so move.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yes. And Mr. Thomas Jefferson.
The Hamilton Park community would like to thank Dr. Theresa Daniels for that resolution. And if you might have missed it, the most important part about the resolution is the undertold story about Hamilton Park. The historical marker was presented, maybe granted, a few months ago. I had Pat Price to be the point person on that project. She took the baton, she ran with it, she did her homework, and we were granted the Historical Marker Award, and it will be unveiled on the 13th of May, which is on a Saturday. And you can know more about the history of Hamilton Park then, because we couldn't cram 64 years in 2 or 3 minutes. So, but it's a story that was well It was well written. It was well written about. It was well researched. And our reason for doing it, when I say our reason, the majority of us here, that's not our Silver Fox, our Golden Girls, we're second generation. So what we wanted to do, we wanted to honor our parents. We wanted to recognize the community for what it was for what it was about. We wanted to recognize the educators. We wanted to recognize the 3 neighborhood churches where we all attended. We wanted to do this for them, and we wanted the legacy to live on. That's what this is about.
Absolutely.
To Patricia Hicks, better known as Patricia Price Hicks. Her dad is Pastor Robert Price, and if you know the history of the Hamilton Park community, there's a federal post office named after her dad, Dr. Robert Price. But she's the one that did all of the hard work. All I did was say, go get it, and she did it. So, Pat.
Thank you. I would like to first recognize the county judge and all of the commissioners. This task that was given to me, I realize now, was bigger than what I thought it was. But I want to thank the people who are behind me. They are my backup. The Burtons, the Williams, the Smiths, the Tenners, and others that are here, original homeowners. You never know in life what you will do, where you will go, or what you will be. We can't take each other for granted. I'm learning now to give back to my beloved community, my childhood home, Hamilton Park community. As you heard the Williams, Pam giving her retirement speech, I said, look at there, there's Hamilton Park. Everyone that came through Hamilton Park in the late 50s, the mid 50s, were trailblazers. They had no idea the path that they were making for a child like myself. I thank God I was taught how to be humble. And if you're humble, the Lord will exalt you. Then this is my set time to make my mark. But it's not for me. It's for the children who are coming after me. I just extend my hands to be generativity, to spread what has been given to me. And I just want to say thank you all for accepting our community, Hamilton Park.
Well, thank you so much.
Let's get a real quick picture. If you'll just step up front here, will that work?
Yeah,
We don't
because
have to do the steps.
and while they're coming, I also want to recognize, Ms. Chris Romero, which is also with the Historical Commission, and the great work that you're all doing, honoring and commemorating, Hamilton Park. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you.
Keep your seat this time.
Come on, guys.
I got to shake his hand. How you doing? Thank you.
Honorable Madrid, you want to come over here?
Y'all can do no better for a city council.
The only one that didn't get in the phone, and he goes, he goes, all
We're
right.
glad to have you here.
Bling going on that phone.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is in recognition of Jury Appreciation Week. And would those who have worked on the jury software system in the renovation of the central jury room, please come forward. I see some members of the court and
We're moving slowly.
staff. Oh, boy.
One of the most important members of the team is hobbling just a bit.
This is in recognition of Jury Appreciation Week, May 1 through 7, 2017. And this is recognizing the importance of jury service and the preservation of the rule of law, the fair and impartial administration of justice.
I'll second.
I said timeliness, it's just, it's
This is a very appropriate resolution.
Whereas the 2015 Texas Legislature passed SB 565, now Section 662.155 of the Texas Government Code, declaring the first week in May as Jury Appreciation Week. And whereas trial by jury is of fundamental importance in our system of justice, enshrined in both the Texas and federal constitutions. And whereas the work of juries helps to safeguard our democracy and the liberties we enjoy as citizens of a free society. And whereas the Commissioners Court recognizes that the Constitution and the laws of the state of Texas contain procedural safeguards in criminal cases for all defendants, including indigent defendants, and ensures the right to trial by jury in all civil and criminal cases and supports the courts in complying with such legal requirements. And whereas the Commissioners Court recognizes that to serve on a jury is to exercise one of the most important civic duties in both our state and our nation, thereby ensuring and protecting one of the foundations of our democracy and judicial system. And whereas Dallas County is committed to making service on a jury a rewarding and comfortable experience. To that end, Dallas County has recently renovated the central jury room at the Frank Crowley Criminal Courts Building and has plans to renovate the jury room at the George Allen Civil Courts Building. Also, because we value the time of our citizenry, we have also implemented new jury management software to schedule and impanel juries more efficiently. Much appreciation to all of those who have made those initiatives successful. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Dallas County, Texas, that the first week of May, days 1 through 7, 2017, is hereby recognized as Jury Appreciation Week in recognition of the fair and impartial justice offered to our citizens by those who have served and who are currently serving as juries. And I so move.
Second.
In favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
We do have members.
Thank you.
Of our judiciary on their hand and those who help implement that whole process. So, Judge?
Well, thank you. And thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Price, welcome back from vacation. I want to let you know that this is by statute. Our colleague that we lost last year, Phyllis Lister Brown, Judge Brown, was instrumental in getting this statute passed for Jury Appreciation Week. It's the first week of May, and I appreciate the commissioners taking this opportunity to recognize that. I want to introduce you to the members of the Jury Appreciation Committee. I am the presiding judge of the Central Jury Room, but I could not do what I do without the members. So Judge Hoffman is instrumental. We've had the unwavering support of our LADJ, Judge Mulberg. We have Dallas Bar Association representatives Rob Crane and Laura Benita Geisler, like here. ABOTA, the American Board of Trial Advocates, has also been instrumental in helping this committee, and that is Quentin Brogdon. Jury Services, Donna Barantz, Pamela Hart, Ricardo Uolola has also been instrumental. And then also, we could not do this without Lorianne Bodina and Jonathan Bazan, who's sitting there at the end, hiding. And I want to give special thanks to Michelle Canyon. Due to the donations of the Dallas Bar Association and ABODA, we were able to provide coffee, donuts, and water to both the George Allen and the Crowley Courthouse every morning this week. They're very appreciative of it, and I will tell you that Michelle Canyon was instrumental in negotiating a really good price to get us be able to afford that for the entire week. So I wanted to thank them as well. And I'm going to take this last opportunity. When I speak to the jury panels, I tell them about the importance of their jury duty, to honor the men and women of our armed forces, because they fight for our right to have a jury trial. It's one of our important constitutional rights. Without it, we don't have the legal system that we do. The judiciary, the Dallas County Judiciary, respects, honors, and works to protect the right to have a trial by jury, as do the lawyers of this community. So I want to thank you for this recognition.
If you want to take a quick picture, yes, this is a photo op, obviously, of the judges. You want to come behind us? Because it is the community. Oh, I forgot. Can you make the steps?
You're
I haven't seen the moment, I know that.
It's always good to see you, of course.
It's some seats that are coming available over here if you want to have a seat. You know, I can't. Thank you, Judge. I can't let this moment go by without saying that it's one thing to talk about, jury service. I just appreciate the fact that we've had to institute laws that deal with a case called Batson. Because, but for that case, people who look like me wouldn't be serving on juries or would be struck. And so, thank God for Batson and the challenges like Batson for jury services.
Okay. Right, take it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
either way.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
No? Yeah. Yeah.
We also like to recognize special days that just happen to fall in May, and so I would like to, those who are here for the Stack Drug Court, if you would come forward. Good judge. Whereas drug courts and their other specialty courts have played a critical role in criminal justice reform in Dallas County and the successful treatment of addiction through collaboration, otherwise known as STACK. Court program is celebrating its 10th anniversary in 2017. And whereas in excess of 25,000 judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, substance abuse and rehabilitation professionals, law enforcement and community supervision personnel, researchers and educators, national and community leaders, and others dedicated to drug courts and similar types of treatment programs are healing families and communities across the country. And whereas treatment courts are recognized nationally and locally as one of the most successful criminal justice interventions for higher risk, nonviolent, chemically dependent offenders. Research demonstrates that 60 to 80% of drug offenders sentenced to prison and over 40% sentenced to probation recidivate, while fewer than 17% of drug court graduates recidivate. And whereas STACK has graduated more than 1,600 clients who were all drug-free and gainfully employed or engaged in academic activities at the time of graduation. STAC has demonstrated that recovery and transformation for one person means a stronger family and community that benefits everyone. And whereas the demonstrated success of STAC makes it necessary for STAC to be available for all qualifying citizens of Dallas County. And whereas the leadership of Judge Leila DeMays facilitated the development of the program, and she and Judge Gracie Lewis continue to partner with other criminal justice stakeholders to facilitate its implementation and development. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby congratulate the successful treatment of addiction through collaboration, or STAC, its dedicated judges and graduates, and recognizes May 12th, 2017 as the STAC Court Program 10th Anniversary Celebration Day. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yes. Congratulations.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is Judge Leila Mays, and I preside over STAC along with Judge Gracie Lewis. It looks like she wasn't able to make it here this morning. I want to thank County Judge Jenkins and all the commissioners for all your support over the years. You know, and I went back and thought about the when we first were even thinking about STAC Court. I remember Commissioner Price was a part of STAC before STAC existed. I have appreciated the work that you have done, Dr. Daniels, as it relates to housing and mental illness. And I want to also thank all the individuals that are standing behind me. It's a team approach that you use in specialty court. And one of the things that's really important is to be able to have individuals from all aspects of the criminal justice system. In addition to that, I have a couple of special people that are also here. I've got 3 of my graduates that are here. And they have graduated anywhere from 2008 until 2010. Jonathan, Nicole, and Dion are all here. Can you all just step forward, please? That's the only ones that we could get here this morning on such short notice. But I just wanted to also just make mention to everyone that substance abuse is a medical disease, and I think it should be treated as such. I believe that when individuals are given the opportunity to be able to be required to get drug treatment and required to maintain their mental health services, that we all benefit from that. So I want to thank everyone.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes,
Thank you, Judge, for all you do.
I just want to say that one of the best things that the judges did was when they appointed you as judge.
Thank you.
Because you've taken it to heart and taken it to other levels. You've got some cohorts over there that work with you.
Right.
I recognize that, but you've shown immense dedication to this program. And,
Thank you, Commissioner.
I know you're always having the graduations and always trying to make sure that we're part of it. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you,
Because it's one thing to have an advocation, but if you don't have a heart and a passion in it, nothing else really matters. So thank you.
Yeah, and
Thank
your
you,
perseverance is what it is. So thank
Yes.
you, Judge Mays.
Yes,
for
thank
all
you very much.
And all that the team does to make sure that it does work the way it's supposed to.
Very good. Well, we're extending an invitation to everyone, the 12th that you had mentioned, at 1 o'clock at Central Jury Room, that we will be having graduation, our tenure recognition, and the Alumni Association, which these 3 are a part of, are going to be sponsoring a picnic for us. So thank you very much, and you all
We'll
take
be there.
All right. Picture.
Sure. And while they're coming to take the picture, if Dr. Teresa Crane and that delegation will queue up, get ready. Okay. Gotta be faster on those. Hold on, just one second. While they drag. Doctor, hold on one second. Let me look at this.
Judge, I locked your phone. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good to see what you. Thank you.
And Commissioner Price has our last resolution.
Last two. Luke 9. Yeah. This resolution is for someone who continues to carry on the legacy that was begun by her husband. Being the ranking member both on the juvenile board and having watched the YSAB Youth Service Advisory Board programs, Stephen Crane, whether it was in the community, in the juvenile department, he was committed. And I just want to thank you, Dr. Crane, for carrying on the legacy. Whereas Dallas County Commissioners Court recognizes dedicated volunteers and community partners of the Dallas County Juvenile Department who work together to uplift and give Dallas County youth and families support through the Steve Crane Memorial Fund. And whereas Dr. Teresa K. Crane, wife of the late Steve Crane, recently donated $10,000 to the Dallas County Juvenile Department Steve Crane Memorial Fund in honor of her late husband's legacy. Steve Crane was a staunch supporter of the Dallas County Juvenile Department, Kids and Cops, Dallas Junior Police Academy, Dallas County Sheriff's Office, the FBI Citizen Academy, and the Dallas County District Attorney Prosecutorial Citizens Academy. And whereas Steve Crane served as a volunteer for the Dallas County Juvenile Department, a board member for the Lee Todd Foundation and Youth Service Advisory Board for more than 15 years, he was a consummate advocate and supporter of youth in Dallas County. The Dallas County Juvenile Department established a discretionary emergency fund to assist Dallas County youth and their family in times of crisis and unanticipated circumstances. In the fiscal year 2015, the Youth Service Advisory Board allocated $10,000 to pilot this emergency fund. And whereas since its inception, over 60 families have benefited from the Steve Crane Memorial Fund, these funds continue to provide financial assistance for such causes as school supplies, school uniforms, rent, band fees, furniture, car repairs, etc. It has made a difference for the youth and families in Dallas County. And whereas Dr. Teresa K. Crane, Act of Kindness, speaks volumes of the passion and compassion she has for the youth and families served by the Juvenile Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court do hereby recognize and express many thanks to Dr. Teresa K. Crane for her remarkable recent donation of $10,000 toward the Dallas County Juvenile Department Steve Crane Memorial Fund, dedicated to serve youth and the families of Dallas County. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is truly like 6 degrees of separation because when Hamilton Park was up here, Dr. Crane said, I used to teach at the Pacesetter Magnet program. She was the principal of that program. She said, I probably taught some of them. And so additionally, with the recognition of the jury service, because we are the recipients from everyone at the Diaz who made contributions to our juror video, which has increased the funds that go to YSAB, and we can increase funds for Steve Crane emergency. Steve Crane was just a remarkable individual, and they say behind every good man is a good woman. And Dr. Crane has continued his legacy, and we're so appreciative of that. It has helped for the gaps in services that we haven't been able to find for our kids. So for Dr. Crane to continue donating is just a blessing, and it goes to the generosity of her spirit in honor of Steve Crane, along with your daughter, who's not able to be with us today. But we're so happy, and thank you so very much for all of your support and your donation.
Well, on behalf of Steve and my daughter, Kristana, and the family, this was his passion. Second Chance Youth. And we just want to make sure we continue to support that for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to recognize Vanetta Kennard, Children on the Mend, along with J. Frank Harris, who is recently retired of the Dallas County Juvenile Department. Thank you for all you do for young people. And the last one, Miss Alberta Blair, I'll ask you to come forward with regards to the Loop 9 piece, and the United Public Works is with it. Our Director of Public Works, this is probably the project that I think is in its last, hopefully, final stages of EIS, Environmental Impact Study, before the Federal Highway Commission. It's just a thumbnail history. This has been on the books since 1952. And not until Dallas County and the voters authorized us in the last bond program did we begin to move forward and begin to give legs to this project. And whereas in 1991, Dallas County bond program authorized funding for the South Outer Loop 9 feasibility and route alignment study, project 91-561. And whereas in 2002, the Dallas County Commissioners Court authorized the county judge to execute a contract amendment 03 for professional engineering services for the South Outer Loop 9 feasibility and route alignment study, project 91-561, with Parsons Transportation Group, Inc. And whereas the Commissioner Court agreed that the construction of the planned State Loop 9 project in southern Dallas County would be a benefit to the residents and the businesses of Dallas County by relieving congestion, improving connectivity, accommodating current and future population growth, and improving our freight network. And whereas the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT, Dallas District, recommends designating the new location freeway between I-35 East and I-45 as State Loop 9. And whereas the new designation for State Loop 9 will provide a direct link from I-35 to I-45 through Dallas and Ellis counties to serve residents and businesses. And whereas a part of the approved process, TxDOT must demonstrate the support of local government in order to add this new location to the state highway system through a Texas Transportation Commission minute order. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby authenticate its support of the route identified by the Texas Department of Transportation as Loop 9 between I-35 and I-45, and I so move.
A second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, Commissioner. This is going to really stimulate the growth of what we are now working on, and especially in the Inland Port area. So with that, we want to pass that torch on and continue to get TxDOT to move forward with this project. Thank you.
Did you say Inland Port or FTC? Which one?
I said Inland Port area. Sorry.
But more importantly, I want to give kudos to Commissioner Price and Judge Jenkins, because this was a very divisive project at the beginning of it, and I understand everyone now is embracing it, and we're moving forward. So thank you to all the partners, Judge, Commissioner Price, and you, Public Works, Ms. Blair, for the great job as always. Thank you.
And this was a project that in 2010 was not included in our 2035 plan at RTC of roads to be built in everyone in this room's lifetime. And now it's at the top of that, and the legislature made it one of only 5 CDA projects in 2013 to go forward. I'll be in Austin on May the 11th. This is our top priority for the DFW area, not just Dallas County, but the DFW area, on the Freight Advisory Committee that Governor Perry and then Governor Abbott reappointed me to, and so we'll be trying to get that plan out, and there'll be hopefully money from the feds that goes to, or more than hopefully, it appears there'll be money from the feds that goes towards this project once that vote is taken and then adopted by the Transportation Committee. We still have a ways to go to get all the money for this stretch of Loop 9. But this stretch between 35 and 45 opens up 50,000 acres of developable land that currently you can't really get to with the road system that we have there. And that creates logistics jobs that pay a living wage, and some of those companies have benefits. For instance, Amazon's latest facility, even though it's down some, is still averaging $26,000 a year for their employees. So it's a good thing for jobs. It's a good thing for mobility. It's a really important program, and we need to also be mindful and thankful of our friends throughout the RTC. One of the ways this got off the ground is because Collin County joined with us to vote for this. And Jim Pitts, who was chair of appropriations a few years ago, joined with us to help provide this. And Phil Wilson, who was chair of the Texas Department of Transportation, or the executive director, fought for this, as did 3 of the current members of the Transportation Committee for the state of Texas. So a lot of partners helping with this, but very important project. Glad we're moving forward.
And in tough economic times, the perseverance of not only the legislators, but also the staff. And we'd like to say, hats off to Alberta Blair and all the staff of Public Works for their working with RTC and working with all the partners they have to work with in order to make it work and make it a viable plan for the future. So thanks to Public Works and all the folks sitting there in the back to bringing it all together.
It's always easy to take credit, and those of us sometimes are the recipients of credit. I think Zan Holmes used to say, we basically benefit from trees that we did not plant. And I just want to thank Lee Jackson and Commissioner Cantrell, having been on RTC, because the fight in this county, in this region, and when you talk about COG and the area, you're talking about 16 counties, but the fight in Dallas was always between north and south. And we were catching hell in the South. And the fact that they kept it going, we put it before the voters approved it, and so we were able to take the baton and go forward. So I just want to, thank you, because the fight was always whether or not the money was going to go south or it was going to stay up around the most congested thoroughfare in the state called 635. Yeah. Got it. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next on our agenda is Health and Human Services presentation, if you have one.
We're not going to do it. He's not going to do a presentation today.
We have our consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And next we have our bids. Is there a motion on the bid?
Also moved.
Second.
Just second.
Yeah, that's what I'm just getting ready to say. Marshall De Los Santos is here. Is Marshall
He was here this morning.
Yeah, still here. I just want to make sure with regards to this particular contract, there are no looming issues. Because I know at one time, there was some outstanding invoices that were really not with regards to Avalon.
No, everything's, I think, has been taken care of. And with the, we have a care flight out there that's taking care of some of those items where they're not reoccurring. Ambulance runs out there.
Okay. And I guess what I'm asking with regards to that issue, have they extinguished all of those concerns with regards to that ambulance?
That's right.
Because one time we had some, when I left here, there was a lot of outstanding invoices with regards to Avalon.
I believe we're still working on those issues, on those outstanding invoices.
Beg your pardon?
I continue talking to Brian, the president, commissioner, and
that's unacceptable.
There's some resistance.
I know it doesn't have anything directly to do with it. That's unacceptable. We need to bring that to some closure, or we need to do something. That's been looming. How long has it been out there, Marshall?
We're going on to a year.
A year.
Now, the outstanding invoice item, you're right, we do need to address
Well,
that,
that's
but
what
they do have now their own contract.
They
for
do.
ambulance services, right?
That's all well and good going forward. But what was outstanding?
130.
130,000.
Yes,
We need to deal with it. Okay. Thank you. With that, now I have any other concerns?
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we've got court orders, and I believe I've got Judge Kristen Wade here to speak on 11, but let's take a motion on those first. Is there a motion on court orders 1 through 57 and addendums 58 through 62, pulling 31, 46, and 58 for separate votes?
Well, I want you to pull 7 and 8 for discussion, and I want you to pull 14 and 15 for discussion.
Okay.
Then maybe a separate vote.
All right, why don't you make the motion then, since you have those and they weren't turned into
So
shade
would you
in
go
that.
through the,
Well, so it's 1 to 57, pooling for separate vote, 31, 46, 58, and for discussion, 7, 8, 14, and 15.
Well, you can't really pull them to discuss. I guess you want a separate
Well,
vote.
I'm gonna have a separate vote, probably
Okay.
will have a separate vote on it,
He's
but I at least
probably
want to put
gonna.
it on, yeah.
He might vote separately, so we're
We'll see.
pulling them.
That's all right. I'll file, that motion will be fine.
But I need to get something on 11 up so she can speak. So do you want to pull it for separate?
11 wasn't part of my motion, there was 7 and.
Would you like to pull those, or you just want to discuss them as we're going along?
So it's going to be court orders 1 through 62.
No, 1 through
1 through 62.
Pulling some things.
Pulling 7, 8, 14, 15, 31, 46, and 58.
Correct.
That's a good.
And I so move.
Second.
Okay, we got it.
Now you got a motion.
And we've got a motion and a second. And so, would you like to speak on number 11, Judge?
Yes, please. I'm Judge Kristen Wade, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Motion 11. I don't really think it's controversial because what we're trying to do is to combine existing programs together in one umbrella to enable us to take advantage of some grant funding that the Mental Health Jail Diversion Court has obtained from the governor's office. However, I just want to give due credit to everyone that's involved in these programs because it is truly an extremely collaborative effort. And, Ms. Lynn Richardson from the Public Defender's Office started mental health jail diversion with myself back in 2004. And at that time, she was the chief public defender and actually volunteering her time to individually represent those clients in jail diversion court. The SET program that we are trying to take into our umbrella was, of course, the idea of Judge Susan Hawk, but unfortunately, due to her own battles, she was really unable to see it to fruition. But the district attorney's office and the public defender's office basically took the reins, and Ms. Crystal Garland from MetroCare was extremely instrumental in getting that program going. So I just want to give everyone due credit. These specialty court programs would not work without a lot of people putting in a lot of extra volunteer time. And this is just going to enable us to hopefully get some more dollars for drug treatment, for bus passes, to utilize the 530 fund so that we can get incentives. And I'd also like to acknowledge the criminal justice section. Miss Laura Edmonds is here, and in the past year or so, they have really stepped up to the plate and helped us with these programs. Keeping track of the grant requirements currently have changed substantially. It is very cumbersome just to reapply. We have to keep individual stats on like 200 plus people a year, which is extremely complicated. And the criminal justice division has just, anything that we ask of them, they're willing to jump in and fill out. So just want to give everyone due credit. We got Cresta Garland from the district attorney's office, and she runs the SET program. We have Miss Vicki Rice from the public defender's office, and she is in charge of specialty courts and mental health. So anyone else like to say anything?
No. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you for giving me my couple of minutes. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the couple of minutes you did.
All right. Is there any other comments on these court orders?
We passed it.
Here, no, we haven't taken a vote yet.
No, I mean, you wanted to.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Is there a motion on court order number 7?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, 7 and 8. And Judge Roden, do I have to do a motion before? Because I got some real concerns about this. Now, the rest of the court maybe wanting to pass it.
I'll move it so we can get a discussion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, a second.
Okay.
Is that 7 and 8?
7 and 8.
Yeah, they're both the same as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, they're both the same. First of all, I'm asking, it says expert witness fee contract between the Southwestern Forensic Institute and the U.S. Attorney's Office for expert witness fee contracts, and then the other seems to be an expert forensic services. Needless to say, I mean, forgive me if I'm a little timid and a little jaded here, but why all of a sudden are we seeing these contracts on our docket? I know God put this agenda together today, so I'm okay with that. But why? Because this has not been on our docket.
They've been providing the expert services for quite some time, and I believe that the agreements were generally being executed by Dr. Bernard. We feel from a legal standpoint it needs to be approved by the Commissioner's Court. These are fees that were set, it's my understanding, previously by the Commissioner's Court for these fees, and it's just the documenting those into the contract and just making. We just want to make sure that the Commissioner's Court actually approves the contract.
Well, two things. First of all, Dr. Bernard apparently is out of state. Okay. Number two. Was there an incident that kind of gave rise to this?
I don't know as far as Dr. Bernard is concerned if there was an incident or not.
Well, let's just put it on the record, because see, in this atmosphere of everything that's going on, it was my understanding that the U.S. Attorney's Office had engaged Swifts to do forensic testing. Swift did that forensic testing. It didn't come out like they wanted to, And as a result, they decided not to call us as witnesses. In fact, the forensic testing exonerated the individual. So all of a sudden, this shows up, all of a sudden, we need a contract, all of a sudden, they don't want to use it.
Well, wait a minute, Commissioner. What you're saying is, okay, if I understand, the Judge Roden, the reason we're voting on this is because they wanted to put it on record.
Who wanted to put it on record?
The U.S. Attorney's Office. And you're saying...
No, they did not. No, they did not. He wanted to put it on record because they had been engaged and performing the services, without court.
Coming to the court approval, right?
Who made that decision? Was it Judge Roden?
First of all, I want to say that I'm not here on behalf of SWIFT's. We're here, the only reason we're involved here is because as legal counsel, whenever we have contracts just with all departments, they come through us. So it's my understanding that...
For you, it's procedure, Judge.
Yes.
Well, did you tell
what we do is
SWIFT?
we review these as to legal form to make sure they're in appropriate legal form.
Has that always been done?
No, that's the point.
It's my understanding that that there was a fee schedule approved by the Commissioner's Court
Many years
but
ago.
but for many years, but that the agreements were signed by Dr. Bernard.
Right.
But Judge, you're saying that you recommended to Swifts that they come through the court for everything to be on the record.
Well, I don't like to give attorney-client information in a public meeting, but basically, yes, we think that because it's a contract with the county, it should be signed by the county.
But you're
That's
saying,
the genesis.
Commissioner,
That's
that
right.
we're using us.
And so, Commissioner Price, I think what you may be talking about is a contract where I think then the Public Defender's Office had wanted to retain the expert, but the Public Defender's Office used a different form of contract that went under federal procurement laws that bound the county to things that by law we couldn't be bound by. That was the issue.
I got that was the issue on that, but it was because of the U.S. Attorney's Office had already used us, and we had given evidence with regards to.
I'm not familiar with that.
Let me say,
exoneration.
let
You
me
want
say
to delay,
this.
Commissioner Price?
Well, I'm just telling you the issue. I want that issue flushed out. I don't want to make any accusation, and if you want to pull it, I will do that. But I was going to put it on the record.
Well, if we don't have to pull it, perhaps this suffices. Parties to a lawsuit are free to use consulting experts and then choose not to use those in court. However, in a criminal case under U.S. versus Brady, any and all exculpatory evidence must be turned over to the defendant. I'm not saying that wasn't done here. However, that's something we need to look into, and we need to ensure that when our office is used by anyone, whoever that is, that if that person is the prosecutor in a criminal case, that we ensure that Brady is complied with. I don't have any reason to think it wasn't in this case, but I would like it looked into.
You can't put us in that position, Judge.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
And I don't think that's what Commissioner Price is doing.
I'm not trying to put us in that position.
That had nothing to do with this issue.
Yeah, that is.
Well, in that case, if we don't have a Brady concern here, if someone wants to pull it, they're free to do it. It's not an emergency item. However, we have a history with Swifts of doing work for Austin, Tarrant County, others, and this would just be an opportunity for us to partner and be paid a fee for that service with this agency. And I think it's just a codification of something that apparently has been going on.
Well, it is a codification, but I'm not. That doesn't mean that I will. Ryan, historically,
Is it just a codification?
Ryan, what historically they've been spending with us to do either the expert fee contracts or the expert forensic service?
My understanding is that we get about a $15,000 annually on revenue that comes in for this type of activity.
so
There's
is
other
that-
activities where they actually do it as an individual and do receive that income directly, but they also do take time off, whether that be vacation or leave without pay, to be able to do those type of activities.
So then this covers the costs of those kinds of costs.
Yes, this is where
Are
it's
those-
on-duty time. It'd be the same thing as a nurse testifying in a DWI case when they drew the blood or something to that effect, where it is part of their normal duties.
You got something, I see your other attorneys talking to, you got something you want to clarify, Judge? I just see you.
No, the only thing is, I think in the past, rather than actually being the contract, they may have just invoiced based on our schedule. I'm not clear on that.
Yeah,
point.
that's my understanding, is
Yeah.
that we would just send them a bill and they paid it, and this is just a little more clarification of Dr. Bernard wanting to ensure that you guys approved the contracts, not him. I think it probably came about as a result of the attorney we added about a year ago that works out at the Institute of Forensic Science through the civil division, and I think they probably ran across this and decided it made sense to do it, bring it to court.
Any other concerns?
I've laid my concerns out.
Okay, any other concerns or comments?
So, just to summarize, we are going to approve this based on the procedure that Judge Roden is recommended, that I believe is the right one. However, I would like for staff to look into some of the matters that Commissioner Price just
Yeah, and
mentioned.
since it's not emergency, I'm gonna pull it.
We'll hold it to
And I would second.
Yeah.
That gives us the opportunity to talk to Dr.
Yeah,
Bernard.
yeah, you get a chance to talk to Dr.
All right.
Bernard and vet out this other deal.
So Court Order 7 and 8 are pulled by Commissioner Price for 2 weeks, and will be back on the agenda, assuming that no issues arise at our next meeting.
Okay.
And next is 14 and 15.
I just want to know, I mean, we got
gotta
the,
have a motion.
okay.
Okay, I'll move it for purposes of discussion. Will someone second?
Second.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. Go ahead.
Discussion, how much is involved in 14 and 15? I can't get any numbers. I mean,
Based
this-
on your comments this morning, Commissioner, I did talk to Jonathan Bazan. He will pull together the information as it relates to what CBRE has done, what they've been paid, and it will take some time because there has been fairly extensive amount of work that they've done
I
for us
understand that.
on a variety of different fronts.
Well, their name is tattooed on us, and nobody for the.
They're a big firm. They're all over the world.
But I
So-
did ask this as one of my questions to staff over the weekend, and I was told that it's the same rate, and the scope of work, is being identified already.
Yeah.
Garcia, same rate, same scope of work, and just ballpark, Commissioner Price, to give you some perspective, for the sale and purchase, for their fees for CBRE and Lawrence Gardner, you're looking at about $500,000 total so far. You do have a very large transaction currently in process, which will increase that.
So about 500,000 thus far, but with the transaction
On all properties.
No, sir, so that's sale and purchase. So then you also have the leasing component. That's going to take a little bit of time to put together.
You're saying 500,000 on these two properties?
Oh, no, sir, total.
You're all okay.
Over the last 3.5 years and 30 work orders.
So it's actually the same tasks that have required more effort, therefore there's this extension.
You adopted a rate schedule
Correct.
consistent with the RFP, and you've been following that rate schedule. For leasing, that has its own rate schedule, and then for purchase and sale. CBRE also performs a number of various services like appraisals and surveys too, and that's separate.
We'll get you a total spreadsheet of everything that they made on each project they sold and all the rates they charge per project. We'll put that together for the court.
So
is there
the
any-
project that they have in queue now, if this is pulled, will it impact that project?
We'll be okay, sir.
Will be okay? Then pull it.
All right. So we pulled 14 and 15. Commissioner Price has pulled 14 and 15.
I'll move 31.
Second, 31.
And
That's the,
Exception.
right.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so that's 3-2 on that one, I believe.
Nothing against.
All right,
Yes, no.
and next,
46.
I move court order 46.
And I second.
oh,
It's interpreters.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how I let 36 get passed, but I'll do it.
hang on a second. I'm one of the voting parties on, whichever this is, 31. I'd like to bring that back up if it's what I think it is. Is that the Parkland employee?
Yes, that's the auditors.
That was the
We come- okay.
exception in 31.
Yeah, I wasn't for that, but I thought I'm going to move to reconsider 31. Is there a second to reconsider 31 from?
You're going to change your vote?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
Any discussion on that?
Nope. I already said a long time ago I
All
was
those
going
in
to vote no.
favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
No.
This is 31, no.
Opposed to reconsideration.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, yeah, all those in favor of the motion for reconsideration, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
It appears the ayes have it.
So it doesn't pass.
So it doesn't
It's
pass.
it's a motion to reconsider.
Reconsider, so I'll move court order 31.
And I'll second court order 31.
All right, any discussion on court order 31? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
No.
Nay. All right, so that doesn't pass.
And just a comment. There was a 2-2 vote, I don't understand, but anyway, got you. Okay, never mind. Okay.
I've always been.
Oh, I know.
All right.
It wasn't my view, it was a 2-2 vote.
Yeah.
It was.
No, I was
Did.
here.
All right, whatever. Okay, so what's next, guys? 46.
Okay, 46. Commissioner Control move. I second.
I'll second.
Okay.
All right. Any discussion on 46? Any discussion? Hearing none.
Can someone in the staff say, we have, the judge presented some concerns about the contract during our last meeting. All those concerns were addressed. The list was sent to all of us. Mr. Garza.
Yes, ma'am. I provided in a summary to all the judge and commissioners, and in the summary reflected the evaluation process and the annual revenue that's collected by the current vendor, and the risk that would be provided if we looked at the alternate. So I would stand by the recommendation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Garza. Great job, and I will be supporting. Thank you, Mr. Brown, as well.
All right, the question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I abstain. Motion carries. And next is court order 58.
Move approval. Second.
All right. Any discussion on court order 58? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed and any abstentions? And I abstain.
I'm abstaining too.
All right. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 abstentions. And that takes us through, I believe, all of our court orders.
That's it.
Right. And next, we have our public speakers. Will Bail please read the rules of decorum for our public speakers?
All Commissioners Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptive visitors and unregistered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the state of Texas Penal Code, sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. The registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. The maximum discussion of any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
Thank you. And our first speaker today is Ms. Dolores Phillips.
You do have handouts. Dolores Phillips, thank you for allowing me to speak. In humility, I say that this is the most massive cover-up committed and documented in America's history. And just because men and women volunteer to be exploited doesn't mean you exploit them. It is inhuman to exploit anyone. Early on, when Commissioner Price was indicted, I asked my friend, was it a hoax? It wasn't a stupid question considering the massive cover-up that was going on behind the scenes. So my friend told me yes. So I then, in my pleadings to the district court, asked the court early on when Commissioner Price was indicted, was it a hoax? I shared with the court in humblest humility that if it's not a hoax, this is the most inhuman indictment ever committed in America's history. It wasn't Commissioner Price because he's black. It's because all of you are the mask for corruption that made his allegations and his team allegations made it look like nothing. In 2008, my first contact with FBI Special Agent in Charge at the time was Robert Casey. Diego Rodriguez was 2012 to 2014. Thomas Class Sr. for Special Agent in Charge at FBI was 2015 to 2017. And now Eric Jackson, I've been there since he came in March 31st. In humblest humility, what I want to say is there's always inevitable repercussions for being a minority and speaking of injustices in Jim Crow South. When Governor Perry was indicted, I really thought y'all had lost y'all mind, and it gave me a righteous anger. So everything that y'all have unleashed here, if you are your brother's keeper and everything that you've done is justified, that means that you have to go rescue your brother, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, because he too masked some of these inhuman crimes. I'm alleging that the FBI threw me under the bus because I am a minority. And when I say that what has happened here has harmed America irreparably, that it has harmed white people, black people, poor and rich, doesn't matter your sexuality or your gender. What I humbly want to say is that for all those who are in their feelings, I'm going to say this for the record, I stand my ground on my straight heterosexuality. There's only one creator, and he says that it's not in him for me to indulge or open up to my same sex. I stand on it. I'm a transition in it. Now, with that being said, in humility, I need you to know that I have an appeal 15-10042 at the Supreme Court right now. It goes to conference May 11th. For everything that they did in these schools, erased my assignments at UNT Dallas, DCCCD, deleted my assignments off Blackboard, continue to delete information pertaining to the FBI and to this massive cover-up off my flash drives. I'm going to humbly endure the consequences, give it back in peace and truth, and say, do not use me as your scapegoat to say racism is over. Thank you very much.
Ms. Phillips. Mr. Richard Sheridan.
Richard Sheridan, 3817 Vanette Lane, Dallas, Texas. And Judge, don't worry, I'm not going to mention any names. I want to start off by saying concerning the recent trial of the 4 remaining alleged IRS charges. This is my position. I've been fighting the IRS for 33 years. And I'll say that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I watched a movie last night called Predator. The IRS certainly is a predatory agency. Concerning the handout, our district attorney has received the speech and some backup information. This, by the way, has to do with vote fraud in Dallas is real. She has also been contacted by Eric Williams, Joe Tave, and maybe Linus Spiller, who is here to speak as well. Vote fraud has been going on in Dallas for decades, and the West Dallas mail-in ballot incident is just one example. What are the other ways to commit vote fraud? You have early voting paperless, 40%, there's no record. Then you have election day electronic paper ballot counting. Again, if you want a recount, it's going to cost a lot of money. Candidates' names not being on the ballot, stuffing the ballot boxes and lying to the voters. 2 years ago, Eric Williams, Sabrina Brenham, Jerry Brown spoke in this court about Mr. Williams and Ms. Brenham's names not being on the ballot in District 8, not being on the ballot. Joe Tave, a candidate in District 3 in 2015, told me that he lost the election because after the polls closed, the ballot boxes were stuffed in favor of his opponent. But let's not forget what happened to Judge, former GOP Louis Sepulveda in his election. My experience was very unique. The day after the election, the Dallas Morning News posted the write-in candidate to get 0 votes. And then a week later, 64 votes, and then now it's 235 votes. And the county didn't even list the write-in candidate the day after the election. Why did this happen to me? Well, for 14 years, I've been increasingly exposing the corruption at the county and at the city. And when I ran as a write-in candidate, I got 1,300 votes 10 years ago, and then I get 0 votes 2 years ago. Very interesting. So what can we do? I suggest, as others, to contact our new district attorney. If you see anything going on, write her or call her office. We all need to be the eyes and the ears to make sure that there's a fair election in Dallas. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Our next speaker is Mr. Emmanuel Magadi.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Humbly, I'm here as a citizen of Democratic Republic of Congo. For many of you, you may not what is Democratic Republic of Congo. This is a land in the center of the continent of Africa, 4 times the size of Texas, with a GDP of $24 trillion. And such GDP in the world, you will find that in the United States and Europe combined. But this land, we got the second largest rainforest in the world, the first being Amazon in Brazil, the second longest and powerful river in the world, the first being Amazon in Brazil, can be used to change the world. And being member and citizen of this county, Dallas, for 28 years, I come here to plead to all of you to help my cause, because that country is losing the last 20 years 9.5 million people in atrocity that you cannot imagine. If I show you pictures here, I will spoil you there. So I'm asking you to take a look, a serious look, on what's going on in Congo. Because with the River Congo, we can produce enough hydroelectric power to light up all Africa and the southern part of Europe. And if we do that, we can fight deforestation and desertification of Africa. And maybe you are not interested in the life of Congolese who are slaughtered, but let me tell you, the corrupt government of Congo is selling uranium. That's the cause of North Korea being today in possession of nuclear bomb. India and Pakistan. And right now they're working with Iran in adding that list. ISIS, Boko Haram, and Hamas, they all in a church, in a search of getting uranium. So I'm asking you, my commissioner, to help us, one, to raise awareness in the atrocities of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Thank you, sir. You're out of time. Thank you very much. All right, our next speaker is Mr. Anthony Burdine.
Judge, I don't think he's here.
All right. Mr. Anthony Burdine. All right, going to our next speaker, Mr. William Hopkins. Mr. William Hopkins. Mr. Mark Blemowitz. Thank you, sir. Mark Blemowitz, speaking for us.
Honorable Judge and honorable commissioners and my commissioner, John Wiley Price. In conjunction with Jury Awareness Week, I want to speak about that we have 4 levels of government. We're taught that we only have 3, the executive, legislative, and the judiciary. But the 4th level of government acts independently from all the other 3, and that is the jury system. As defined in Webster's dictionary, a jury has a right to judge the law and the facts. If you do not agree with the law, you have a right to vote not guilty. One person can hang a jury. A person creating a hung jury has more power than the president, the Congress, the court system, the governor, the legislature, and any city council. They can nullify what they may see as a bad law. Hung juries have brought about changes in constitutional amendments, as writing a new constitutional amendment and even overturned the Dred Scott decision. For instance, prohibition, you could not, a lot of times, the government could not get the convictions because someone said it wasn't anything wrong with making a little home brew or moonshine at your house. Hung juries have changed America. Between 1850 and 1860, the government could not get convictions to enforce the fugitive slave laws. The result was that President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and abolished slavery. Hung juries is what caused the fugitive slave laws to be overturned. Someone on the jury, when only white male landowners could serve on a jury, said that slaves were not property, they were people. Between 1850 and 1860, there was a constant movement to erode at the power of the jury and hung juries. Dallas County needs to share with the history and the power of the jury in their video in the central jury rooms. We need to protect and inform the right of juries. The power of the juries can be demonstrated in John Wiley Price's trial. The government had 6 years. They used 150 FBI and IRS agents, and not counting all the support staff and government equipment as cars, etc. The case then was given to ordinary people,
Sir, I'm sorry.
the jury.
You're out of time.
Okay.
But thank you, sir, for your comments. And our next public speaker is Mr. Tim Dickey. Mr. Dickey, you're a candidate for office or no?
My son, Alex Dickey, is a candidate for the District 6
That's all
City
fine.
Council
It's
seat.
just, that's all fine. I remind candidates, I guess I'll remind you too, when they come during elections, please hone to the rules of freedom of speech in campaigns, but you can't say anything negative about your opponents here because of our rules, okay?
Wouldn't think of it. Wouldn't think of that. My son Alex would be here. He's a school teacher in Irving Independent School District. State testing is going on now. So he would love to be here, but he couldn't. I'm not speaking for him or on his behalf. I'm speaking for myself. I'm a lifetime resident, grew up, born and raised in Dallas, civically involved all my life, worked as a volunteer in city council, county judge, state representative, presidential races for 30 years. So I'm familiar with what goes on in campaigns. And what really concerns me about what's the allegations in the District 6 race is that while we go to great lengths to secure the sanctity of the ballot at the polling place, even enacting draconian voter ID laws that allegedly disenfranchise tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, we have 100-foot boundaries we draw for electioneering at the polling site. The thought of some stranger coming up and looking over your shoulder while you're filling out your ballot in the booth, which exists because that even presumes some sort of privacy and sanctity as you do your ballot, completely falls away when it comes to mail-in ballots, absentee ballots. And all the legislation for voter ID does deal with voter impersonation at the poll. But the other side has been ignored for years. And Dallas Morning News recently did an article where they talk about the mayor and State Representative Eric Johnson calling on the county to finally do something about it. They quote former elections administrator Bruce Sherbet saying 27 years ago, going back, the allegations have come up. They came up last November. Bruce Sherbet said, but I sent them all to the DA, but no one was ever prosecuted. And that's my point. It's a county issue. It's a city race in this case, but it's a county issue. The county elections administrator, the county DA, these are the people that can take care of this. The problem with absentee or mail-in ballot fraud is that it works. The people who are best at it end up sitting in the seats where they have a position to do or not do something about it. And it erodes the confidence. My son called the district attorney to find out about this investigation, like what's going on. They told him, well, investigation, we can't tell you anything, but we want to assure you that every person's ballot will be counted. That's the minimum. That's fantastic. But what about the prosecution? What about finding the people? What about the commitment at a policy level to finally catch someone doing it, that everybody knows about it? It's a county thing. It's on you all. It comes back to you. I talked to a longtime political operative in Dallas who said, and I made this point, the district attorney doesn't have the resources. Well, you control the resources. And I would just urge you, because the suspicion is on everyone. Is it you all doing it? Is it Linus Spiller? Is it Alex Dickey? Nobody knows. And we're coming into a District 6 election where no voter and no candidate is relieved of the stink of suspicion. And the investigation, no one knows what's happening, if anything will. Please do something.
Thank you, Mr. Dickey. You're out of time. Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is Mr. Ben Wilkins. I believe Ben left with the foster care group. Mr. Yes. Ben Wilkins. Mr. Ben Wilkins. Our final speaker is Mr. Linus Spiller. And Mr. Linus Spiller. And Mr. Spiller, same admonition to be careful about any inflammatory comments about opponents.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, Honorable Clay Jenkins, John Wiley Price, Kenneth Cantrell, and Theresa Daniel, and my commissioner, Dr. Elba Garcia. My name is Linus Spiller, and I'm a candidate in the City of Dallas District 6 race where allegations of mail-in ballot fraud is being investigated by the Dallas County DA's office. The alleged precincts are 4001, 4024 through 28, 4030 through 31, 4081 through 82, 4084 through 85, and 4101. This is a direct violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 11A, which prohibits any person acting under color of law from refusing or failing to allow a qualified person to vote or to count a qualified voter's ballot. Likewise, Section 11B prohibits any person from intimidating, harassing, or coercing another person for voting or attempting to vote. On April 12, 2017, a memorandum entitled Alleged Mail-in Ballot Voter Fraud, City Council District 6 was sent by Rosa Rios, City Secretary, to Mayor Mike Rollins, City Council members, and candidates running for the District 6 seat. We were informed that the Dallas County Elections Department was conducting a criminal investigation in conjunction with the DA's office and City Attorney's office to ensure the illegal activity of vote harvesting would not compromise the integrity of the election. Unfortunately, our race has already been compromised, and the voters of West Dallas do not have the assurance their ballots will be cast for the candidates of their choice. Likewise, voters who opt not to vote in the election, which is their legal right, may have an illegal ballot cast for them without their knowledge. After reviewing the roster for the first day of voting found on the elections website, I discovered the following after sorting through the data. 549 total votes for District 6 had been cast. 98 of those votes were cast in person. 451 of those votes were mail-in ballots. 301 of those were from the West Dallas area 75212 zip code. District 6 is the lowest voting district out of 14 council districts in the city. In 2015, 1172 votes were cast. In 2013, 870. In 2011, 1037. So to have roughly half of the votes in on the first day of voting based on previous election totals makes it clear that illegal vote harvesting has taken place. On April 26, 2017, I filed a formal complaint with Tom Wheeler, Acting Assistant Attorney General with the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. In my complaint, I requested assistance by the DLG by sending 6 monitors, 1 per candidate, to assist the Elections Department as it reviews received mail-in ballot applications and ballots. While you do not directly control the DA's office other than approving its budget, I am requesting the Commissioner's Court use its influence to push for a fair election in the District 6 race, as well as cooperate with federal authorities. I thank you for your time and consideration.
This concludes our public speakers. We will now adjourn for a closed session to consider matters under Chapter 551 of the Government Code as previously posted. Any action as a result of the closed session will take place in the subsequent open session.